guys, it's me, Liz, from Liz Vista's FlossTube. It is Friday, June 17th. Super hot. I wish I could just wear my sports bra, but you guys probably would not like that. I have done a whole bunch of stitching, and I just realized I don't think I have my iPad here. I don't know where it is. Oh, yes I do. And it's even charged. Clear all this stuff. Hopefully this will update pretty quickly. Oh, it did already. Cool. So I worked on a whole lot, but it's been another fun week. I live in Ohio. Half of our state had no power for basically 2 days. Our power went out, and it wasn't due to come back on until like noon the next day. It came on little before 11, I think. No. So our power went out. It wasn't scheduled to be back on until noon. And obviously it was super, super hot. Big heat wave. Almost 100 degrees. We started sleeping downstairs where it's cooler. So my little girl was sleeping in just her underwear downstairs. I was sleeping in like a pair of boxer shorts and a sports bra. Luckily I have a whole bunch of backup batteries for like your cell phone or whatever. And one of them is this big beast. This guy. He's huge. And he's solar charging. So you can like put it in your car or whatever, in the sun, in your window, whatever. So luckily I had this, and I have a little USB powered fan, which I have going, and I hope it's not too loud, but it's hot up here. So this thing is great, and it even does wireless charging, but it's hard to get my phone lined up on where the thing is. But you can use it like with a stand. This is from Wonderfold, the fancy wagons. And it's got a micro USB, a Type C, and 2 USB ports. And it came with like a carabiner to clip it on. Awesome. It was like $35, but best investment ever. So I was able to have the fan going, and that's how we fell asleep downstairs, like laying on the floor in front of the fan. So I came up stairs eventually and just had the fan so it blew from my table to my bed so I could sleep. And I was tossing and turning all night, and at one point I woke up, it was like 4:30, the power was still out, but when my alarm went off at 6, the power was back on. Oh, and on top of everything, not only was the power out, the cell phone service was out too on my phone. My mom's track phone wireless still had service. So we went about our day. It was great. We had bought bags of ice to put in the fridge and the freezer to keep the fridge cold and the freezer semi-cold. Went about all our day. I had a job interview. I went to the job interview, and when I came home, the power was out again. And it was, again, going to be out until the next day. So, when it came time to pick Maggie up, we decided we were going to go eat dinner somewhere and go watch a movie so we could be in air conditioning. And then on the way home, we would just buy more ice or whatever. Excuse me. So we get her, we go to a movie, and we're on our way to go get bags of ice, and I'm like, I'm gonna see if our power's still out. And it said it was restored like half an hour before. So whew, it was nice. My problem is my fish tank is very warm, warmer than it should be. In the summer it usually gets a little warm, but having no air conditioning in the room made it so it got really warm. So I'm probably gonna have to change out some of the water and put some cooler water in there so they can cool down too. So that was fun. But Maggie had her first swim lesson last week. Well, her first new swim lesson. She was in swim lessons when she was a baby. Like when she was like a year old, maybe. I don't know. So these are her first swim lessons. She had a blast. She did really good. And like I said, so I lost my job last week. I had an interview this week on Wednesday, and I have another one scheduled for tomorrow, Saturday. So hopefully I get that first job, because it would be really good. So that's been my fun. So I've stitched a lot because I've been home, and I stitched as much as I could during the day, since I knew with the power out I wouldn't have any light. And at one point I did have to stop because I was having trouble seeing, and I knew I was going to screw stuff up. So I have a whole bunch of whips and a couple new starts. So here we go. Let's start with the whips. Here's my board. And then I have a new start that I'm going to start today. That's what this is. Okay, so let's see. So I worked on my new Brave pattern. So I started that last week and showed you, and I only had a little bit. I had 256 stitches. So I worked on that a whole bunch throughout this week. Saturday I did 482 stitches. Sunday I did 227 stitches. Wednesday I did 503 stitches. Thursday I did 475 stitches. So I've done a whole bunch. And it's really nice because it's just color blocking. There's no confetti. So here's where it was. Well, okay. Here's what the pattern looks like when it's done. And then here's what I had last week. And here is what I've done. I've already got 2 colors complete. So here is where we're at. So that's all of these 2 colors. So those are both zeros in Pattern Keeper. And I started on the crown. It's gonna be interesting. Because the big bear, you know, that's where the ears are. So it's gonna be interesting figuring out the best way to work my way down. But so there's part of the sky, and then there's another color of blue that's like the mountains and stuff. So this one is awesome. And I put it on this sparkly fabric because I thought, oh, it's going to show through. It's going to be really neat. It barely shows through, so it was kind of pointless, but oh well. I'm obviously not starting over. And then for this one, I'm just using my Merida needle minder that I made for the tapestry one that I'm not going to do. I just went ahead and threw that one. Well, I haven't thrown it out yet. I'm going to throw that one out, and I put all my floss into my stash. I'm just not going to do that one. I like this one a lot better. So that's that one. And then I had my new start. And this one is called Life on the Ocean. The needle minder got moved because it got stuck to another needle minder. So this one's one I'm doing for my stepmom down in Florida. And this was a brand new start. I worked on it a couple days though. The first day I did 326 stitches. That was Friday after I finished filming. Then Sunday I did 653 stitches on it. So I did 2 days worth of stitching. And I have almost the whole border done. Well, the whole blue part of the border. So this is where I got to. And I love it. It is so cool. And I like it so much, I'm probably going to stitch it again. And I love it on this fabric. This fabric is Once in a Blue Moon by Fiberlicious. So this is like, there's a big like pirate ship. These are like beach huts. And these are fish. This is a lighthouse. This is part of a seahorse, so it's really neat. And I couldn't think of a needle minder. I didn't have any needle minders made for these new ones because it was spur of the moment. So I just used my Feelin' Stabby that I got from Amazon. So that's pretty much new starts. And then I did my Myths and Legends. I only did 190 stitches. I did one more diamond. So here is where this one was. And here, let's see, best way to hold it. Here is where I got to. I know I say this every time. I absolutely love this. So, Hecate's Hounds is the one I'm working on. So there's 3 more diamonds in this row. 1, 2. Yeah, 3 more diamonds in this row. And then I'll scroll and do the Hecate's Hounds at the top. But that's that one. I'm getting a lot of progress on that one because I like working on it so much. And then since I was working on my Sugar Plum Dreams for my cross stitch camp, Colorado cross stitch camp, and I was using that as like my work project. So I would work on it on break and at lunch and then right after work. And I was getting major progress every day. Well, now it's like, well, when am I going to work on this? So I have to kind of make myself do it now. But I did work on him one day. Yeah, one day I got 308 stitches. But, you know, we're only halfway through the month and I'm pretty far. Once I finish this horse, it'll be quick. So here's where it was before. Man, he's too little. Here's where it was before. And here is where I got to. I just did this chunk, like, this far down. And so I didn't end up with a big line. I'm doing like a kind of a feathery thing. So, he's pretty cool. I love him. And this fabric is the fabric I was going to use for my Under the Sea Stitch Along from Frosted Pumpkin. And I put the paper somewhere. I can't think of what it's called. I think it's over here. Oh, here it is. It's from To Die For Fabrics. And it's Reef Blue. So, I really like this fabric. And then I wish I would have used it on the other side, because the other side has like these white splotches. And this side doesn't have as many. I think that would have been cool because it kind of would have looked snowy. But definitely have to order another piece of this because I am going to do that under the sea stitch along. I'm just not doing it while they're doing it, apparently, because I haven't even touched it, obviously, because I used the fabric. But it's really nice to work with. It's not like floppy and soft. I don't like it when they're like that. I have two Pictures Pluses, and I think I'm probably going to resell them because I don't like how floppy they are and how soft. I just don't like it. So I'm probably just going to resell those. And after that, I figured I'm going to pick up some stuff I hadn't picked up in a while since I've got time. So I picked up my bees. I call it Bees and Honey, but I think it's called Where There Are Bees. It's a Prairie Schooler, and I'm pretty sure it's out of print, but you can still get it if you look on Etsy. I found it on Etsy. But it's called Where There Are Bees, and here is where I was last time. I took a picture because I had to scroll a little bit to get to the bottom. Because I had pretty much finished the top half. So here is where I got to. I did 476 stitches. This one maybe I do need the board. Okay, there we go. So I finished whatever this is like a dark, it kind of looks like gray from far away, but it's like a dark greenish gray. So I finished what was in here, and I think I finished the frame. I don't think I had the frame all done. And then I did all of this, and there's a bee skep here, and these are little bees. There's gonna be flowers on these things. So I got a lot done. So pretty much after, and then this has a teacup and it says tea. And then there's the same chain border on the bottom and on the sides. So I'm almost done. I love this. And I'm so glad that my spilled monster, I spilled my Java monster on it. Can't even tell, so it's nice that that doesn't show up. And then I worked on Maggie's name, and I worked on that 2 days in a row, because I want to start moving up on it, but I couldn't because, so it has, here. So it has like, this is my little needle minder. So it has like an inside circle and then an outside circle. Well, her name is gonna overlap this, her first name is gonna overlap this inside circle just a little bit. So I needed to get her name done so I could work up and have the flowers just, you know, I could just stop stitching where her name is. Like stitch around her name. So I had to work my way up. Well, I want to work my way up, so I had to do her name. And I did the math. Oh, jeez, these magnets are so strong. Okay. Hold on, so I don't get stabbed. Okay, so here is a picture of where it was before. And then I got her name done. So, nobody stalk my little girl, okay? But that's where I got. And it looks great. So, like, this is where that inside circle is. So it's like the M and the A will just barely overlap. But there's flowers here, so I think I can just do the flowers, kind of leave a gap. But, so I did all that. I had Huff, so I did Rose and Magdalena. So the one day I did 229 stitches, the next day I did 139 to finish out the name, and I did the math. Just her name was 511 stitches. But I'm excited that that one is to the point where now I can move my Q-snap again and work up that side. And then again, I wanted to pick up something that I hadn't picked up in a long time. So I figured I wanted to do my Schitt's Creek. And instead of working on the buildings, I decided I was going to work on the frame, try to finish the border, and then I'm going to do all the back stitching of the words. So here is where I was. And then here's where I got to. So here is where I got to. So I left my little tails so I could count what I have done. So that's where I started on this side to bring it down. This is where I started the zigzag, and then this is where I kept my little crosses going. And then I just basically went around, and then since these were the tires for the bike, I went ahead and jumped, did a tire, came back down, did some more zigzag, jumped, did the tires, came back down, and finished the zigzag. And then I'll insert a picture of the words at the bottom. And so the only one I got done so far is folding the cheese. But that is, I did 333 stitches that it counted. But that also is 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, 70, 75, 80, 80, 90, 95. 100 more stitches on top of that. So 433 stitches, because this is one I put into WinStitch because I couldn't get the pattern itself to load properly onto a pattern keeper. So I went ahead and took the hour or two to throw it into WinStitch, stitch by stitch. I put it in so I wouldn't have to worry about the buildings and the hearts and the words. So I didn't put, like when I did it, I just did the zigzag. I didn't put in those crosses. So that's why I just had to count those by hand. But each little cross is 5 stitches. So, okay. So that is all of my whips. And then I started, oh, poop. I went ahead and started Blue Jay last night, but I only did 111 stitches. I'll just take a picture and insert it. So I'll insert a picture of what the finished product will look like and a picture of what I did yesterday. That way I don't have to go all the way downstairs. It's not much to show anyway. So today I have been trying to get ready for this other thing I want to do. And it's a Jardin Privé, and it's called, it's in French. It says Composition Floral. So it's a floral bouquet kind of thing. These are 3 different patterns you buy, and then it gives you the instructions on how to combine them to one big sampler. So this is part 1, and it shows you your placement. So that's part 1. And then part 2, and then part 3. So here is a picture of all 3 parts together. And this is what I want to start today. But it's weird because when they give you the chart, they give it to you so you can either stitch it as separate pieces, because this one, for instance, is 3 chunks. It's this chunk, and this chunk. Now you can stitch them separate, and each one would have a border, the same ziggy-zaggy border. But it gives you how to take the chunk of the border off that you don't need, so when you combine them, you don't have all that extra border inside. It's just like a backstitch line, I think, that you put around it. So when you put it into Pattern Keeper, it's got those extra borders. So the grid isn't going to line up right when you go to stitch it. So I've been trying to figure out the best way to do it, the best way to go about it. So I think what I'm going to do, I gridded up my fabric, and it just barely fits on these rods. It's just a little bit too wide, actually. So I think what I'm going to do, instead of starting with part one, which is the middle, what is that? Ew, I don't know. I'm going to do part two. I'm going to do that whole top. And then I'm going to do my border. And hopefully I'll be able to work off of my border to put that in. And then once that's in, I'll be able to work off of that to see where the middle part goes, I hope. I don't know. I really just hope this works out because it's so pretty. I wish they made it so you could just buy the 3 pieces together. So it's been an adventure. Gridding it was no problem, but trying to figure out, am I going to start and do the middle block first? But then I'd have to work from the middle out, and I don't really want to do that. I don't know. So I printed, where'd they go? I printed the charts. I'm going to hold it back. So I printed the charts, and I'm going to try to like cut and paste them the way they need to be. So like this is the middle, which is easy enough, right? I mean, I don't know, this is very confusing. I don't like the way they did this. So basically, they give you 2 different symbols for well, it's the same symbol, just different. So they're both squares, but this one's empty square, this is a full square. So you know that you stitch the full squares if you want to do all 3 together, and then you leave off these squares because that is where the other part of the pattern is going to go. So it's like the other part's going to go up here, so you don't need this. Oh my god, it's just making it so much harder than I thought it was going to be. It's like, if I can figure out where to place this, I can do, so I'm going to do, like I said, I think I'm going to do part 2, which is the whole band across the top. And this will go underneath it. And if I work from the outside, you know, I think maybe that'll work. I don't know. It's very confusing. I don't know. I printed these on cardstock, so they'll be hopefully easier to figure out what I'm going to do, or I can cut them, stick them together, scan them, and then I'll just have to do it as set my own grid in Pattern Keeper, which would be a little annoying, but it's better than nothing. I don't know. We're going to see. Start with part 2 anyway, so I won't have to worry about that for a while. I don't know. It's scary, but it's going to be amazing. And then I looked through my stash, and I only had 2 of the colors. So I'm going to have to go to the store to get the colors. But they're really pretty colors. They're like pink and blue and green. And then there's all this back stitching, vines and stuff. Oh, it's so neat. And I'm just using my Amazon giant piece of like oatmeal colored Ada. It's called Confusan or something. When I pushed it back in, the label went inside. But I'm like, it doesn't really matter what the background is. I was almost going to do it on my yellow fabric, but I thought it might be too bright. So that's all the stitching. I only have one piece of haul, and actually I got this last week and I forgot to show it. The library has, I think they do it twice a year, maybe 3 times a year, like a book sale where people have donated books and stuff for the book sale. And they had some cross-stitch books, and there were some that were cute, but very outdated. And then I saw this one, and I thought this was pretty cool. It's Cross-Stitch Patterns Revised Edition. Well, it's really neat. I mean, they're very simple patterns, but they are arranged as oh, I guess there's not. Dang. Basically, they have it arranged so it's from different areas of the world. Like, this one's from the Balkans. So there's ones that are like folk arty from those areas. And I just thought that it was so cool to see the different styles from the different areas. Look at this giant peacock. I mean, and then there's ones, man, this section must be big. And then there's patterns from ancient China. And this is the one that I think really got me. I can't think of what's the other page. 58 and 59. So this is like, I don't know if it's an elephant. I think it's an elephant. So that's the top of it, and that's the bottom. Yeah, it's an elephant. And then there's another one that's a giant dragon. I mean, there's some really crazy looking ones. Like, these are probably from, I don't know. But I mean, look at this guy. He's awesome. I think that's like a monkey king. Really cool. I don't know. I got it for $1, and I'm like, it's gonna be hard to stitch from, so it'd probably be a thing where I have to scan it. But so that's really the only haul I have, other than buying some floss, because I bought the floss for those 2 projects. And but one thing, I have decided to donate to the thrift store my old whips. So my original Harry Potter that I was working on, and I went ahead and printed them up, the pictures small. The cryptids that I started on 14 count, and my Art Deco lady that's on 14 count. So I have them in there, like they're ready to go, and I printed up where to get the patterns. So thought that was a good way of doing it. I'm just going to tape over those so they don't get pulled off. That way they're not just sitting here, because I'm not going to do them, and I don't feel like, I mean, I could reach out in the groups and see if anyone would want them, but I think I'm just going to donate them, and if someone wants them, they can have them. If they want to continue it, they can. I've been watching Kansas City Girl in a Colorado World, and she talks about this crafty thrift store that she has, and let me tell you, it sounds amazing. I wish I had one. And she says everyone always goes crazy when she talks about it, because everyone wants one. It'd be great to have a crafty thrift store. I do so many crafts, but so I'm like, that'd be something that she would see in a thrift store and probably be like, ooh, look at that. I don't know. So that's pretty much it. I'm going to try to figure out how to start this garden sampler thing, and I did have to take a couple things off so I could have the rods. So I needed the rods that I had my Tiny Modernist Christmas on. And then I needed the sidebars and the knobs from my Chinese Zodiac. But this one I'm leaving on these rods because I am going to stitch it. I just wanted to start something and I needed the rods. I need to make more of my sidebars because apparently I am one set short. Maybe two. One set short or two? Just one set. Like this one is a sidebar that I made. But it's the same width as the ones that come with the frames. So, that's basically it. I'm gonna figure out how to do that. And then these are just gonna go in my little holder I have over there. And I've gotta clean my room. I've gotta, I should probably apply for a couple more jobs. If I don't get that first job, I probably will get the job that's coming up on Saturday, which is Lowe's, but it's a different Lowe's than I used to work at. But I imagine they'll probably give me the job there. But I really want the other job because it's a big girl job. It's not just a cashier job. It's a full-time job. It's a better job. Pays better. It'd have, you know, a future. So hopefully I get that one. She said that I should get a call back to set up a second interview. Because it was like an open interview kind of thing. So you come in, you get to take a tour, you have an interview, and then if they like you, they'll set up a second interview. So hopefully I get a call and get a second interview. But that's it. It's about the same amount of time as I usually do. I can't think of anything else that I was going to say, but I know I'll think of it later. Because that's what I do. I guess I better get started switching out some of the fish tank water. But I had to get into my fish tank fund for my new fish tank since I lost my job and I needed the money I had saved. So I guess it's gonna be a while before I get a new fish tank. Oh well. See, that would have been better too, because then it wouldn't be under the oh well. We'll see. Thanks for watching. I'm also on Instagram. If anyone follows me on Instagram, same name, Elizabeth does FlossTube. Thanks for watching. Hey guys, it's me. Tomorrow, Liz. It's now Saturday. Sorry, my mom caught Maggie's cold. So I went to the thrift store after I picked up Maggie from daycare yesterday and found a really exciting crafty thing. So it is like a sit-on scroll frame holder. Let's see. So you put this under your leg, and it came with the scroll frame, dowel rods. You're supposed to put your own like stitch-on tape, but it came with 2 sizes of dowels. So like a, I don't know, 24-inch and 18-inch maybe. And it's got like a chart holder, so you would put your rods in there. And it even came with another scroll frame. So this is the kind that you stitch on to your project for a more long-term project. So that's pretty cool because I have so many that I know I'm going to be working on forever, I would be able to stitch one on and just have it on this and free up one of those. So that's pretty cool. And I don't know, a long time ago at another thrift store, I found these guys, and they're stitch-on. They're very thin dowel rods, so it wouldn't be for a very, you know, long project that you'd have to scroll a lot, because then you wouldn't be able to get it tight. But so I'll have another set for this too. So that's pretty cool. And I figured I would share. And look, it came with the original instructions. And it's from 1980, it's copyrighted in 1986 and 1994. So it's pretty cool. It's from Barbersville, West Virginia, M&R Enterprises, Mike and Ronell Bradley. So that's kind of cool. And it's got like the picture of the setup. Apparently they made right-handed ones and left-handed ones. This is a right-handed one because it would go like this under your leg. So there would have been a left-handed one where this would have been turned the other way. But I saw that and I was like, that's pretty cool. So I grabbed it, even though it was $15. So I put back the other two things I was gonna buy. Because I'm like, well, I'd rather have that. I think that's it. I just figured I would share. Oh, no, it's not. So I said I was going to start the Jardin Privé, like, garden sampler thing. And I did. And I got 590 stitches done. So here is how far I got. I would not go to bed until I turned this corner, so I wouldn't lose track of where I was. And I figured out, I think if I put the pattern into the markup, I can adjust the grid, and I should be able to make it so I can get my grids to match up so I don't have to think as hard. Sorry, she's coughing really loud. Like I said, she caught Maggie's cough. Okay. Here's Maggie and Goosey Goose. Come here, Goose. I don't know if you'll be able to see Goose. I can't really pick her up. Might hurt her back. Come here. Come here. Come here.
I'll get right
Come over here, Goose. Look up here.
Goosey, look up there. Oh.
She's done. Okay, so I got 590 stitches done yesterday.
Hi.
Say hi.
Hi.
But I think if I put it into the markup app, I should be able to adjust the grids and make it so my grids are the way they need to be, so I won't have to try to figure out where, because the grids aren't going to match up the way that they're charted, because they put the whole frame in all of it. So, but I think markup will make it so I can do it. And that's it. I will see you guys next week. I'm going to get editing.
Mommy.